everybody, welcome back to Fixit Finance. Today we are discussing the Dave Ramsey baby steps, what they are and why they work. So we're just going to get right into it without wasting much time. Oh, I guess a brief introduction. The Dave Ramsey baby steps are actually detailed in his book called The Total Money Makeover. That is a book where he kind of talks about this in much detail. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it directly from his website, wherever good books are sold or listened to, like Audible and the rest. The book is on there. It's called The Total Money Makeover. So please if you're looking for a very good, easy to read book, you should read that. So the very first baby step is to save $1,000 as quickly as possible. Now, the way to do this is to either, pick up extra shifts at work, find a way to sell some stuff online, whatever it is, just try and save $1,000 as quickly as possible. And the why for this is because anything can happen in the process of getting your financial picture together. So you want to have that $1,000 set aside. So God forbid you have to change your tire. God forbid, you have to pay whatever money at the hospital for whatever reason. You have to do anything that's, a small but manageable emergency. So that way you don't stop the total money makeover process or the baby step process in order to deal with the emergency. So I guess to kind of take us back a little bit, one of the basics for the baby steps to work is you have to get on a budget. And a budget is basically, like his daughter Rachel Cruz would say, is permission to spend. Like I tell my friend, your budget will expose you to yourself. It will expose you to you. Actually, my friend Lea, how are you? He was actually the first person to let me know that. He's like, man, I was asking him how his budgeting was going, and he was like, yo, your budget will expose you to yourself. And there's no better way to describe that. So getting on a budget is like baby step 0, and then baby step 1 is to save $1,000 as quickly as possible. Baby step 2 is to pay off your debt using the debt snowball. Now, what is a debt snowball? The debt snowball is basically taking all your debts, list them from the smallest amount to the largest amount, and to pay them off in that order. So you're paying minimum payments on everything. So say your car payment is $500, you're paying the $500. Your student loan minimum payment is $300, you're paying the $300. Your credit card minimum payment is $10, you're paying the $10. And then any extra money you find in your budget by not eating out, not buying unnecessary things, selling stuff online, you take that money and you pay off the least one. So say the credit card is the least, you pay off the credit card, close it. Then you take all that money you were putting and you start paying off the student loan. If the student loan is done, close it. Then you take all that money and pay off the car. Again, if that's the least to the greatest. Now, the next step is baby step 3, which is to save 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund. So 3 to 6 months of expenses. So by the time you calculate what your household spends in a typical month, you times that by 3 or 6 or more if you want. But he recommends 3 to 6 months, and then you save that in a money market savings account. So that's just so for example, in Canada, some of the ones I personally recommend to people is to save in accounts like online accounts such as Wealth Simple, EQ Bank, Tangerine, stuff like that. That'll pay you a little bit of a higher interest. Now, the whole point of this account is not to make money, not to make interest. It is an emergency fund. It's meant for, God forbid, you lose your job. Before EI kicks in, before EI kicks in, you have that money there to, keep you coasting. God forbid you have an emergency, you have to travel to go see a parent or a loved one who's sick or dying, like an actual emergency. All the tires in your car, go bad at the same time. So that's the 3 to 6 months emergency fund is for emergencies, and it's perfect to have in times like these, for example, where a lot of people don't know what's going on with the virus and everything going around. The next baby step is baby step 4. So that is where you save 15% of your household income and invest it. So you invest 15% of your household income towards retirement. You invest it for retirement. So in Canada, you would put it in, an RRSP. You would fund your RRSPs. You would fund your TFSA. So say you and your spouse, or you alone, or whatever, your household income, and this is your pre-tax, pre-deduction, pre-everything income. So say your salary is $50,000 a year. Your spouse's salary is $50,000 a year. Your household income is $100,000. 15% of $100,000 is $15,000. $15,000 divided by 12 Whatever that is how much you're supposed to save every month in baby step 4. Baby step 5 is to save for your children's college education and university. So in Canada, as university, we don't usually say college, and we don't usually say college like they do in the South. So you're saving for your children's university education. So what that means is you are opening an RESP for them, which is a registered education savings plan, and you're funding it as much as possible towards their future university education, so they will not have to take out student loans like you had to do. And they won't have to, and when that time comes, they're in university, you would not have to worry about where the money is going to come from to pay their tuition, room and board, and all that jazz when they're in school. Baby step 6, one of my favorites, is to pay off your house early. And what this does is it frees up your when you focus on paying off the house. Once you pay off the house, that mortgage, the money for the mortgage, the money that you're paying towards the mortgage is now free to do as much as you want with. You know what I mean? Like if you're not paying a mortgage, just imagine if you didn't have a mortgage payment yet you owned your house. Just take a minute and imagine what that would be like. I have, and it's a feeling I'm looking forward to, because that cash could do a lot. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. The last baby step, which is my absolute favorite, I kind of do it, even in the other baby steps that I'm in, is baby step 7, which is giving. Yes, the whole point at the end of the day, while we're building wealth and getting our personal finance life together, is so that we can give and be generous and be just happy at throwing money and helping situations. You know what I mean? You know how lovely it would be, a single mom who's struggling, and you buy her a car, she needs a new car, or the church is doing a project and you believe in the project, and you don't even need to, they don't need to raise money or borrow money. You stand up and you say, hey, I'll pay for that, or in times like these when Hope Mission, the United Way, the Red Cross, and so many other of these awesome charities are doing as much as they can to help the community and help those that are less fortunate. You could write a check for a huge amount that would definitely change at least 10, 20, 50 people's lives. You could sponsor a missionary. For example, I remember in church there would be young adults who want to go serve in like different nations, or who want to go help spread the gospel in parts of the world where they don't know it, and all they need is $5,000. Sometimes all they need is $10,000. You could stroke a check and write that. So baby step 7 is the reason why. It's because we want to give and help people. Anyways, so why I believe the baby steps work is because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of resources and whatnot about money out there. There's so many, like, this is what you should do, this is how you should do it, this is what you should do, this. It's a lot, right? I believe the baby steps, one of the power of the baby step is the fact that it breaks it all down into baby steps. So you don't do baby step 2 until you're done baby step 1. You don't do baby step 3 until you're done baby step 2. You don't do baby step 4 until you're done baby step 3. Now, baby step 4, 5, and 6 most times are done together, because once you're done for the year, for example, like the example I gave, the $15,000, once you've saved it, whatever is left, you use to pay off the mortgage early, and then whatever is left, you contribute a portion to, towards your children's university education for the future. So 4, 5, and 6 are usually done together. Now, other than that, every other thing is one step at a time. That is the power of it. That is why I think it works. That is why I think it's simple. It's straight to the point. And although, he doesn't guarantee this in any way, shape, or form, I personally believe if you follow these steps, 9 out of 10 times, unless, you were hit, just, knocked out, something completely threw you off, you will become prosperous at the end, right? Because there's no way you're saving 15% of your household income towards retirement that you would be poor in retirement. If you're saving $15,000 a year for 30, 40 years, you should not be poor when you're in your 60s and 70s. Right? If you pay off your house early and you don't have a mortgage, God forbid, in a situation like this where the whole world is basically coming to a standstill, you have nothing to worry about. Why? You don't have a mortgage payment, you don't have any debt. Whatever money you have is for you. It is your money. You're in control. So he always says this, and I love it because it's just one of those things that I truly believe in. He says your biggest wealth building tool is your is your cash flow, like your income, the money you actually make. And I personally always say it's not about how much you make, it's about how well you manage what you make. I like, from reading and just studying this personal finance area as a whole, you have teachers who make, you know, like 50,000 all their life and they retire millionaires. Yet you have doctors who make $400,000, you know, for like the bulk of their life and they still retire broke. You know, so you don't, what I mean is, it's not about how much you make, it's about how well you manage what you make. Yeah, so basically, in summary, I personally suggest, if you are on a personal finance journey and you want to understand more about finances, follow the Dave Ramsey baby steps, listen to his podcast, read his books, listen to this channel. I break it down usually and I help you understand it and just simplify it as much as possible. And at the end of the day, as usual, like the video, subscribe, share the video, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much for watching.